it's your Aussie mum Anna, and doing a bit of a different video today. It's something I've sort of wanted to say for a while but didn't want to do it because people would jump on it and go rah rah rah. But anyway, what I want to talk about is the almost trend among popular females, particularly in YouTube, and having some sort of generalised anxiety disorder or depression. And in no way am I trying to say that these people don't have a generalised anxiety disorder, or I am not trying to say that, like, whatever in your life, whatever is the worst thing that has happened to you is the worst thing that has happened to you. So if the worst thing that's ever happened to you is losing $5, then that is going to distress you as much as, if the worst thing that's happened to you is watching someone in your family die or something like that. It is equally distressing, and I'm not trying to take that away from people. What I do get concerned about is the bandying around of the medical terms and like chronic anxiety disorder and that sort of thing, whilst portraying a lifestyle that can't be maintained by someone with, a chronic anxiety condition. The reason I can tell you this is, hi, my name is Anna, and I have bipolar disorder, generalised anxiety disorder, borderline personality disorder, and CPTSD, which is complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Some of the ways I manage that are, once a week I give myself, I'm a qualified nurse, but give myself an antipsychotic injection. I daily take mood stabilising medication, so that's an antipsychotic and a mood stabiliser, and that is an anti-anxiety, like a PRN medication. A patient, when I need it, I take it. Hopefully I don't take it daily because that one is Valium, so, being addicted to that is very, very dangerous. So yeah, the goal is that I don't have a panic attack daily. But some of the other things that I have to do to cope with it and how badly these things can affect you are, for example, I learnt to drive. I am 36. I learnt to drive 2 years ago when my youngest child started school, because we lived in a different area now, and it's sort of semi-rural. Her primary school was 10 minutes drive away, I'd say, and there are private school buses, but parents can only ride it with them 3 trips. And her daddy's a fisherman, so he's quite often away for, periods of time, so I couldn't count on him to be able to take her. And there is only one public bus early in the morning. So basically I needed to learn to drive. My daughter, to this day, if you ask her, she will say, my mum has a special licence that says she can only drive to school and the supermarket, because the supermarket is on the same street as school, and I catch a bus or walk in any other way. Like, my fear with driving is, I'm apparently quite a good driver, everyone tells me, but my fear is that I could make a mistake that would cost other people, like I could get distracted, turn around, and I could hit someone perfectly innocently and destroy a family, and I can't dwell on that too much or I'll have a panic attack on camera. But anyway, there are even other things I have to do, like my daughter's school, the parking is out the front and it's sloped like that. Then there is a built-in retaining wall with a footpath and then like a really busy road. So when I park, I used to have to get to school like an hour early to do this, but now the lovely principal has made it my official car parking spot. I have to park my car behind the sign that advertises the school, because if I don't, I have this constant fear as I'm walking my daughter to class that the park brake in the car is going to fail and it will drive out and crash into the road and kill something. It's literally like that. I cannot have a phone anymore. I have phones, I have good phones, Samsung Galaxy phones, Nokia window phones, other Samsung. I can't do it. And I have a home phone, but it's unplugged. I can't do it because every time the phone rings, I think it's someone ringing to tell me that, someone's hurt, someone's dead. If the door knocks and I'm not expecting anyone, I always think it's the police coming to tell me that someone's been in a car crash, they're dead, that sort of thing. A bit of that does come from the fact that I did lose my 12-year-old son in an accident 6 years ago. He was in a fall and broke his neck and died instantly, so that's probably triggered that. But I was first hospitalised for depression at 13. And the other thing I do, as well as that medication regime, is I have maintenance ECT treatment 4 times a year. So like electroshock treatment, and not the the small one like traditional ECT, which works quite well for me. I like it. The idea is really scary, and I'm always concerned about the impact on my memory. But anyway, but yes, I have to do things like that with the school. And I got there this morning, and they were repairing the curb next to it. So that whole row of the car park was cordoned off. You couldn't go in there. And it was crazy hair day, we'd got up early, we'd done the car hair, and she was so excited to get to school, and I just simply didn't know what to do. Fortunately, her dad was not on a trip, so I had to ring him and get him to drive down and meet me, pick his daughter, park his car, walk over, get his daughter out of my car, walk her up to school, so as I could continue on my way, because I couldn't physically park the car anywhere else. What I do is I use Facebook Messenger as like a calling system, and you have to send me a message first to say, hey, this is so-and-so calling, because otherwise I just won't answer the phone, I'll turn it off. I can't cope. Things like that, but I managed to, get everything done. And oddly, before my daughter started primary school, I was able to go to mother and baby groups and, kinder gym and that sort of thing, because it was for her, it wasn't for me. So for some reason I was able to detach, funnily enough, that's one thing I, when people go, oh, if you're that, blah, 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 why do you do YouTube? And I know exactly why I do YouTube, because it feels like having a conversation with people, but I don't actually have to deal with the people. I still work. I am legally classified as disabled. I'm not going to get my little card to show you, but yeah, whatever. I am legally classified as disabled and entitled to benefits, and I do receive some. It's tritated on your income, so I'm a casual employee, and I work at a call centre for a multinational mobile phone business. I'm not going to name the one, but the reason I'm able to do that, it's almost like when I put the headset on, because I don't have to see the people or anything, I almost feel like I'm acting a role, I use a different voice, good afternoon, this is Anna speaking, how may I help you? And it's just my phone voice, and and then I switch off. But that's why I don't work as a nurse, even though I'm qualified, because I can't do it, I can't cope with the people, I can't cope with the stress. Oh, Delaney, Dan, Delaney, Milo on you. So, that is why I get a little bit distressed with when these people who have such a fantastic platform to educate and to remove stigma, because people can say whatever they want, but mental illness is not treated the same way. If you have a cast on your arm, people will help you, that sort of thing. If you say to someone, oh, I have bipolar disorder and I just really feel like I can't get out of bed this week, they're not going to offer to help in the same way. They're going to be like, well, pull your socks up. And people are still trying to be understanding, don't get me wrong. But what I think I get disappointed about is people sort of promoting this. It's almost like anxiety of convenience, like an anxiety that allows you to attend some events but not others, or allows you to go to, beauty-sponsored promotional trips with 10 other YouTubers, but, not turn up to an event if you don't want to because you have an anxiety disorder, or, missing friends' celebrations but being able to have a meet up with your fans, that sort of thing. I love chatting with people in comments, and a lot of the time, apart from chatting to parents at school and people at the call centre, and it's a really strict call centre, we don't chat in between work, you have to, you're allowed 2 log-offs to go to the bathroom, and they're like 5 minutes, and then meal break. And I work night shifts because you get paid more to do it, so working 2 night shifts is sort of the same as working like 4 day shifts. So yeah, so what happens is if I work 4 night shifts, for example, I won't get any disability support pension because I've earned above the thing. If I, for example, am not well and I don't work that week, I report my income every fortnight, gross, and yeah, so if I don't report an income, then I do receive the pension. They'll explain, yeah, you can look it up on the website, our thing's called Centrelink. Anyway, but yeah, my point is that there is, people have situational depression where if you've broken up with your boyfriend and that sort of thing. And once again, I don't want to take that away from you. Like, if you're 17 and your heart's broken, your heart is broken. And like, that is serious and it's bad, but it's not going to consume your life forever. You are not going to be like me and taking medication every day and having to give yourself an injection once a week and having to have your brain electrocuted 4 times a year. Like with my pregnancies, that was hard because there's some medications that you can't take in pregnancy, and so you have to make a decision whether you want your children to need to be weaned off the medication at birth, and no judgment to anyone that does that, or whether you will wean off while you're pregnant to prevent it, that sort of thing. So, things like that. Neither of my, all 3 of my children that are still alive, none of them had any issues with being addicted to medication. I was able to transition off, but it was hard, very hard, but I also had a pretty good support team in place. And I don't want to sound like I just rely on medication. I also see a psychiatrist weekly, a psychologist weekly. I have cognitive behavioural therapy. I attend an anxiety support group and that sort of thing. So anyway, and we also have family therapy once a month, just because I'm always really concerned that the kids might feel they're missing out. But like, I can separate that sort of thing. Like, I can go and watch my son play cricket, no worries, and cheer, and that's great, focusing on him. But I can chat to the other parents there and that sort of thing. But if someone asked me to go and speak to those same 4 women without our children there in the cricket, no, absolutely not. So yeah, what I want to get across is that mental illness can be a chronic illness that people are living with, and people promoting it incorrectly, like it genuinely seems to be a fad at the moment to say you have generalised anxiety disorder. Some of you probably have generalised anxiety disorder, and go and seek medical advice immediately, because these things, they tumble and they revolve. Like, they circulate, sorry, not revolve. Like, you get anxious about going outside, so then you stay in the house, but then you don't see anyone, and then you get anxious that no one likes you, and it's just, don't let it spiral out of control. Always seek help. And, like, for someone like me, there is, this is very raw and open to say, and I'm sorry if anyone's triggered or really offended by this, but it's my life, it's what happened. I have attempted suicide before. I haven't been successful once, but was revived, and actually, that's a whole different story. But I used to get through, like, days and weeks at a time, when a lot of the time I'm good. Bipolar is under medication, it's great, but when I'm not feeling well, I used to get through entire days by thinking, look, if I still feel like this tomorrow, I can always check out. If I still feel like this tomorrow, because when people say, like, oh, it's gutless, think about the other people, when you feel like that, I don't think it's gutless at all. When you feel like that, you feel that is the best option. Like, you feel like you are, you would be doing your children genuinely a favour by not being around, because you are such a bad person who doesn't deserve anything, who's not capable of doing the right thing, blah, blah, blah. You feel like it is the best option. You genuinely feel like everyone around you would be better off if you weren't there. You feel like a burden and incapable. Like, I was on academic scholarship to private school for grade 10, 11 and 12, and That was sort of when it really first started to hit me. But back to the, unfortunately, back to the checking out thing. But two of my brothers have committed suicide in the last 6 years. So once again, genetic, very genetic. And so, I mean, I'm very happy to say I can 100% guarantee you since that time I have never considered suicide, and I will never do it again because I have now been one of the people that are left behind. But I don't resent my brothers. I don't think in any way you just get an urge. It usually lasts about 20 minutes, and I think they just acted on that urge. I think at that point in time they genuinely felt that, they felt so bad that life couldn't get any better. But yeah, they taught me a lesson, I suppose, in that much that, I will never ever do that because I know what it is like to be left behind and to be there, what could we have done, why couldn't they have come to me, that sort of thing, we still went through all of that, but I don't feel that they were gutless in any way, shape or form. I feel that, they were desperate and felt like that was the best option, and that's what makes me sad, is I know how much pain they were in. But please know that there is nothing glamorous about having generalised anxiety disorder or agoraphobia. I have to order my, I get my groceries. We're lucky where I live, you can order them online and they just deliver them for free. I have to do that, to go Christmas shopping. My mum has to come with me, or I have to do it online once again. But yeah, it's very strange but I can take my kids to get a Santa photo done because it's for them. It's the way I separate it. But yeah, my main concern is people, and it generally appears to be people that have spent a good deal of their YouTube career promoting the fact that they're positive and happy and and then they come out with this big reveal video saying, they've got anxiety and they've got depression, and basically everything they've put up that you grew to love to follow them was a front. And yeah, I've never seen anyone, I've seen one person, say that they went to the doctor and they're on medication, they were struggling with that. Obviously I've seen lots of videos about people with serious mental illness like me, and I'm not, that's great, but they don't get the views of the Zoellas and that sort of thing, coming out to say this, they've been putting on a facade for 6 years and actually they have anxiety, and I believe she suffers quite serious anxiety. I don't mean to point her out like that, but she also is a representative for mental health, and she doesn't do enough to jump on that bandwagon to let people know that people out there, they don't look any different. They're not going to be wearing a t-shirt that says, oh, by the way, I have a chronic mental illness, because the stigma isn't removed, People do judge you. And yeah, I just, like I said, this all started because I wasn't able to park in my usual spot at school and spiraled from there, and I just wanted to get it off my chest. Thumbs down, feel free. I'm sure there are a lot of people going to be like, so-and-so has real depression, that's so mean. And once again, like I said, the worst thing that's happened in your life is the worst thing that's happened in your life. My depression is situational. By the time I was 30, I had lost my dad, 3 brothers and a child, who I had when I was very young. So it's situational, it's genetic. As I mentioned, 2 of the 3 brothers I lost were to suicide, and it's it's a chemical imbalance in my brain. I can be sailing along and nothing can happen, and I just crash. My bipolar is a bit different because I don't tend to get the manic highs, with uncontrollable spending or, blah, 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 that sort of thing. I just sort of go along, and I believe at one point they were calling it unipolar, but I don't know, on my disability approval government issued thing, it says bipolar affective disorder, BAD, which I thought was interesting, like BAD. But yeah, so I tend to go along, and then it's almost like the longer I'm happy and calm for, the worse the crash is going to be. And then I get you know, like I said, I get break phones because I think, oh, and like another thing, you know, like these are bank cards that, like, I haven't lost them, obviously, they weren't stolen, but I just, like, when I get anxious, I think that the next time I put it in, it's going to be taken, and what if it's on a Saturday and I really need the money and that sort of thing, and so I'll order another one. Like, that's what I'm talking about, generalised anxiety disorder. So please like and share this video. Please let me know if you'd like to hear anything else about mental health. I am a medication endorsed enrolled nurse with Australian qualifications. I don't currently work, as I said, because of my mental health. I am on a not-for-profit NGO, so a non-government organisation. I am on the board, and it's called Tussle, and it is a group that advocates for minorities within the health system. So, you know, people with addiction issues, people with mental health issues, anything like that. So feel free to comment if you want any information about that, or any assistance if you live where I live in obtaining a doctor, or if you think that you've been treated unfairly or that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm the secretary of the board for that. And yeah, so, you know, like, I give back. I volunteer at my daughter's school, but I do it in the library. I reshelve books because, you know, reading with the children was too much for me. I work out my limits and I work within them. My limits are pretty stringent, but, you know, that said, I am happy in my life. Like, I love my family. They're great. Like, look at this. This is my son I had when I was 2 weeks of 16, and he's 20 now, and he's got his own house, and, you know, a long-term girlfriend, a great job. He finished school, never got arrested, never got picked up drunk. He's just a good kid. My 13-year-old son, he chooses as extracurricular activities piano and French, you know. They're really good kids. I love them. I love, you know, my husband. I love my life. And that's what I mean when I say, like, people in my situation aren't in control. That's where it is an illness. It's not something we choose. It's not something you can snap out of. Acknowledging people's conditions and accommodating it is not enabling them. Don't enable them, but acknowledge if you're watching this and you've got a partner or a friend who has some of these issues and you don't know how to help them, yeah, like, you're not enabling someone by, if you have a friend who gets panic attacks in crowds, you're not enabling her by, you know, ordering, like, grabbing lunch on the way over and eating lunch with her at her house. And then, like, you know, every once in a while, invite her out, see if she's ready to go. But if she's not, don't harp at her, and, you know, do it that way so you can still have the contact with her without doing something that you're going to acknowledge her. And please, for the love of God, if you're not diagnosed with a mental illness and you have millions or hundreds and thousands or thousands of followers, do not go on YouTube and spout unresearched, ill-informed mental health advice, because people look up to you so much. That said, like, anyone with any mental illness, you have, you know, any form of mental illness, situational, baby blues, whatever, I feel for you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm not in any way suggesting that people have made up their diagnosis, but it's a bit like when Roaccutane first came out and they prescribed it to everyone and then realised that, you know, it had horrible side effects. Or, you know, when Ritalin first was invented, suddenly every kid had ADD. When Prozac first invented, Prozac Nation, that, you know, everyone suddenly had depression. And now I feel like it's like that with generalised anxiety disorder. I don't think people realise how debilitating the illness can be. And, oh, one other thing I just wanted to say, because this keeps irritating me. Also, people, if you're on SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, don't bother taking ecstasy, and I'm sick of explaining to people why it can't possibly work, but just look it up. What ecstasy is designed to flood your brain with serotonin, and you're on a medication designed to regulate your serotonin supply, because if you have a disorder like that, your body can't do it naturally. So yeah, why do you think that ecstasy would work? But anyway, that's an odd thing, but a question I've got a lot in the course of work. I hope lots of people see this video. Thumbs down it, thumbs up it, share it, because you want people to think I'm mean or whatever, but please get the message out there. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.